Hello everyone, I'm Michelle Neal and welcome to my channel Stumped by a Stoma. Now today I'm going to talk on just a little bit more on my journey that I've had since October 2024. Yesterday I did a demonstration on the fake stoma that they give you at the hospital so that you can stick it on your stomach and practice putting bags, pouches on and so on. And I was quite jolly and jovial in that video, but it completely exhausted me, and I had a bit of a meltdown last night. I was so overwhelmed with exhaustion, and this is the sort of topic I want to talk about, things that often don't get discussed. We all sort of try and put on that mask that everything's okay and that we're getting on with things, but I want to share the other side of the journey that maybe we don't often want to talk about or let people see. The exhaustion, the absolute fatigue that overtakes you in the process from being diagnosed with something to the point where you are nearly at having the operation, because I haven't had it yet. And I just want to help anybody out there that feels like this, because you can sit at home feeling absolutely drained, and then you click on YouTube and look for videos about people's journeys with their stoma and surgery and what have you. And that they're all, of course, they're all really good. They're all beneficial. Don't get me wrong with that at all. We all need encouraging. But so far, I haven't come across many, if any, maybe one, where a lady had had an operation and she was all right for a couple of weeks, and then she had gone into a meltdown and couldn't stop crying. And she put a video out, and I was really touched by it. Now, of course, I haven't had my surgery yet, but I just want to share how the ups and downs of the process. So I've just got my little notes here, which I'll just use as a sort of a prompt. So today I'm feeling like I've been lying on a bed of nails all night. Everything hurts. I feel like I'm encased in concrete. I might not look like that, but I feel like that because I have fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue syndrome as well. So trying to manage all these things with the bowel condition and getting through all the processes that the NHS want you to, the hoops that they want you to jump through and what have you, it's exhausting. So October 2024 was when I ended up in A&E and had scans which showed the problem that I've got. And then in December 2024, I was scheduled for a virtual colonoscopy because they could see that there was no way they were going to be able to do a standard colonoscopy because of the stricture that I had. It would have basically catapulted me through the ceiling in agony. So they did a virtual colonoscopy. The stuff I had to take for it completely obliterated me. I don't really know how I crawled into that scan, but it was horrific. And not the scan necessarily, because it's a CT scan, so there's no issue with that. It was this stuff that you have to drink, and nobody warned me of the effect that it would have on my body, particularly with chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia. That left me in bed for 3 weeks with total overwhelm. My poor husband didn't know what to do with himself. I then crawled my way back to some level of functioning between December 24 and June 25. Now, in those months, I then had all the difficulty with getting seen by a specialist consultant to do with gastrointestinal disorders. I couldn't see anybody because I was so ill. I couldn't get out of the house, and phone calls were just almost. I couldn't cope with the stress of the phone call. The phone calls that I had made me so stressed, and I felt like I was being scolded and bullied down the phone. I'm not going to go in any more on that. It was really awful. And anyway, I decided that I was going to try and find somebody different and private. Not that I could afford to pay for private surgery, but I found a private consultant who was like an angel sent from heaven. Truly, this man is wonderful. And he works in the hospital under the NHS at the hospital where I would have the surgery. So this private consultant, I paid for private appointments, but I've had to now wait to be slotted in the NHS's system. So between June 25 and August 25, we were in discussions, and the decision was made about having a colostomy. Then from August 25 to the present day, here we are in June 26. This is how long it's taken. Pre-op assessment, which was total overload for me, overwhelming, and I wanted to run away because I couldn't cope with it all. Bombardment, when you've got chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia and other things which I won't mention here, the overload it's the bombardment, and it makes you want to run away. So anyway, got through that. That took me a week to recover from a consultation, this pre-op assessment. Then I had to see the stoma nurse, which I thought would be wonderful, and was actually, I can't describe a word for it anyway. Challenging would be one. Challenging the decision that me and my surgeon had made about having a colostomy. Why are you having that? You don't need that. I'm like, this is what my surgeon and I have agreed, and it isn't anybody else's business. I'm here just to learn about how to put a stoma pouch on. That's your job. Tell me about it. Don't try to play my consultant's role. Anyway, so you can imagine how I felt with that. That took me another week to recover from. Then I had the anaesthetist's phone call, half an hour, more bombardment, but obviously I wasn't there in person. I was over the phone, so that was not as stressful. Pre-op, the second pre-op assessment was a fast version of the first one, but it was on the phone, so I handled it. Then the second anaesthetic nurse's phone call, that was okay. I've had multiple blood tests, some which gone missing, some which took 6 months for me to get a result because they went to St Thomas's Hospital, and that department had shut down, so they had to ship it all off to another country to do the testing of whatever it was they tested me for. So I'm not trying to make this a woe is me video, don't get me wrong. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm simply just sharing what this journey has been like so far, and why almost on a daily basis I feel totally exhausted with it all, because it affects my sleep. I wake up and I don't feel like I've slept. My body then responds to the fact that it's on this sort of constant knife edge, like a heightened alert all the time, and trying to protect the body's trying to protect you from pain, and then you get this pain and a flare up, and then almost 2 years on laxatives to keep me going. want to be graphic, but 2 years, it's not good. You shouldn't be on laxatives for 2 years. My body's just depleted. Nutrition doesn't get into my body properly. I eat, but I'm not absorbing nutrients properly. If you're going to have to take laxatives all the time, Anyway, that's that. I'm trying to smile and laugh, but I'm exhausted. And it's a very hot day here in the UK. It's probably about 28 degrees today, and that doesn't help. If you're just totally fatigued all the time, the heat doesn't help. I have to put my feet in bowls of cold water just to try and cool my body down. I've got a thyroid problem as well, Hashimoto's thyroiditis. That makes your internal thermostat malfunction. So I'm hot. As soon as it reaches 19 degrees, my body starts panicking like it's in a permanent hot flush. So all in all, we're doing fine, thanks. Like people say, how are you? You just automatically say, oh, I'm fine, thanks. And you're actually not fine at all, but you can't tell them because they haven't got the time to listen or don't really want to know. They're just being polite. Oh, hi, how are you? It's a hello. It's not a, I really actually want to know how you are. But that's another one of my things that I get frustrated at, because they can see you flagging. You're like, oh, but they don't want to know, because they just want a quick 1 minute conversation, and then all right, I'm off now to do whatever. Don't get me wrong, that's fine, but I just find it very hard, very, very hard, and so I just say fine, thanks, because I haven't got the energy anyway. But there are only one or two people that I share my friends that I share any information with. So I'm sharing it on here if that's okay with you. But I do hope that just sharing it helps anybody out there who is struggling in the journey with through the healthcare system, whichever country you're in. If you're on that journey and you're trying to get to the end of the road and have your surgery, and everything is postponed or put off, or on the day that you're going to see a consultant, you get a phone call to say, I'm sorry, he's not here today, or he's been called away on an emergency, or even my private consultant, which is fair enough if he's got an emergency, but then you have to wait another 2 weeks, and it's very, very hard, because you think, when am I ever going to get to the end of it? Anyway, I hope this helps, just to let you know that you're not alone. There are people out there on this journey with you, and I'm one of them, and I hope that in sharing it, it helps you, encourages you to keep going. And I'll try and do other little videos along the way, and until I get the actual operation date. But I'll end this video now because it's almost 14 minutes. Anyway, bless you all and take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.